All right, so I know that a lot of you are interested in operator guides, in team guides as well, so you can build your teams, build your operators, and start claiming the content. But I feel that a lot of you are actually sleeping for the factory gameplay. And trust me, you're actually hurting your progression quite a lot by doing so. And that's because by setting production lines for your game, you actually keep producing things even when you are not playing the game. You can see right here that, for example, I have an industrial explosive production line in another map. And even though I'm not there interacting with anything, it keeps producing explosives for me that I'm going to use to explore the map. I'm probably not going to use 5,000, that's for sure. I don't think I need that much. I could stop the production later. But point is that I went to bed, I had some sleep, and after this I woke up, and here I have a lot of explosives for me. The game just keeps working for me instead of me manually going into the game and crafting the things that I need over and over. So that's the whole point of automation. And why this is so important is not just to make your life easier, is because the outpost system, you're going to unlock more outposts later in the game, allows you to trade some of your items for stock bills. You can see right here that Origo Crust, for example, I can sell it for 1 stock bill, which is really low compared to some of the other options. So the more complex the item, the better the price for it. And this stock bill here, it's so important for you because it allows you to buy some things in the stocker distribution system. All right, this is not limited to just operator progression things. You also have gifts. These you can give when you are in okmuzzy junk for your operators to increase their trust level. So this is also really important. And you can also get, for example, even pools, standard pools here while you're doing this. We also have the elastic goods system, but we don't need to talk and focus too much about this. This is basically a stock market system, you know, just buy low, sell high. You can buy stuff here in a lower price and then you can sell later for a better price, the TLDR of the system. But this is not the point of the video. We don't need to focus on this one. Okay, what matters is that we want to start generating these stock bills, all right? And these stock bills have a lot of different uses. This is not only the shop. Okay, if you try to craft gear for operator, the equipment for your operator, you're going to see right here that it requires a stock bill as well. You see, go over the most basic one. It also requires stock bills as well. So stock bills are really important for your progression. They are really important. They also allow you to upgrade different systems. This here, for example, allows me to expand the area that I can work with my facilities. I can unlock a lot of different things. As you can see, the recycling station, for example, produces items that you can use in okmuzzy junk to upgrade some of the systems here. So we have, for example, the control nexus. You can upgrade this by using some of the items that the recycling unit produces for you. Okay, and if you upgrade it by using stock bills, you can get even more of these items and even items of higher rarity. So there are so many things that are going to use a stock bill. So it's really important for you to start producing this as soon as you can. But I highly recommend you at least keep progressing through the story until you unlock the tech tree. And after unlocking the tech tree, then we can start working on some of these production lines. Because at the beginning, you're not going to have access to a lot of stuff. For example, it takes a while for you to unlock the electric mining rig. This one is going to consume energy, and instead of requiring you to manually go in the node and pulling up all the Originium ore or amethyst ore, you just set up a power to them, and then they are automatically going to mine everything and send to your core AIC. As you can see right here, I have plenty of Originium ore, some amethyst ore as well, and the game just keeps mining this for me, even though I'm not there, even though I'm not interacting with it. Okay, so it's going to take a while. It should be around your account level 10, 11. As soon as you finish the Act 1 of the Chapter 1, as soon as you defeat the first boss in the game, pretty much, you're going to unlock the tech tree, and most importantly, you want to unlock the basic AIC 2 as you keep progressing through. There's no specific priority. You can unlock things as you want because you're going to have a lot of points, but the most important one, especially for the facilities that I'm going to be covering in this video, is the planting, which means you want to get material molding in order to progress through the chain, solid filling, and finish with planting. All right, you also want the packaging tech, so it means that you also need parts fitting, and then you're going to go for packaging tech. Gearing tech and mining 2 are going to be bought from you while doing the story quest. These are kind of required ones, so you're just going to get both of them. and then you can start progressing through this one right here. Highly recommend you getting power as well once you unlock the basic AIC2, because the more facilities you start putting in your factory, the more power you're going to need, which means you need a way to increase the maximum power capacity of your whole factory system. So this is why we start buying power, so you can increase the power of our system. Okay, and this one is kind of a KOL. You actually don't need to buy this one, but I highly recommend it. I use this one on some of the blueprints that I'm going to show here. But this is basically just a storage system that can also send out the items back in the core AIC. So instead of making huge, let's just show here. So instead of making huge transport belts lines such as this one right here, let's say, oh, I'm trying to pull this item, go into somewhere here, and then I need to go back into here. So instead of making this mess, you can set a protocol stash, and this is going to store all the items for you, and then they just send back to the automation core, just like I use it right here. Okay, so instead of linking the output of this back into my automation core, I just use protocol stash to keep things more compact and also make sure that I don't have a mess of transport belts to deal with it later. Okay. So these are the important ones that I recommend you to get. Material molding to unlock solid filling, and most importantly, unlock planting unit. Parts fitting to unlock packaging tech. This one allows you to produce industrial explosives, which is really good for your exploration, and also batteries, which is really good for power. You also want to unlock power as well. And lastly, for quality of life, you unlock field stash. Okay, before diving into these production lines, I just want to give you a basic examples of how you can see and how you can deal with all the production chain of different items that you're going to unlock in the game. So for example, I mentioned that we're going to buy the gearing tech, and you probably set up some production lines for the components already. Okay, but looking on it, it's really easy. Okay, so let's say, for example, here, you see that we have the main products here. You can always just search for the item that you want to craft in the database. Okay, so here I can simply search for component, view details, and here you can see all the information that you need. I can pin this in the corner for future reference, and I can even see the production chain of the item. You can see right here that we have Originium ore comes into a refining unit, which becomes Origo crust. This Origo crust goes into a gearing unit with other items, and then it produces the amethyst component. The same thing happens with the amethyst ore. It goes into a refining ore, becomes amethyst fiber, and then it joins with the Origo crust in a gearing unit to become amethyst component. If things are too complicated for you, you can just look line by line. All right, so focus only on the first one, Originium ore into Origo crust. Okay, so let's go back into the game now that we have the formula right here. Okay, we can see it. So let's start with the first line. We have Originium ore into Origo crust. Okay, so let's set up a refining unit right here. Let's set this to Originium ore. You can change the item as you want here, but we're using Originium ore for this. Okay, and then we can simply link it into the refining unit. Okay, and after this, the Origo crust goes into a gearing unit. So let's pick up a gearing unit and place it right here. All right, and this goes here. Okay, cool. We finish up the side of the Origo crust. Let me just open up here. Let's look at the second line. We now have the amethyst one, and we go from amethyst into a refining unit and becomes fiber, which goes into a gearing unit. It's exactly the same one as the Origo crust, as you can see. So we can simply set up a refining unit right here. We set this to be on amethyst. Pull up the amethyst, goes into the gearing unit. There you go, it's done. It's not working right now because I forgot to power it. So let's power using an electric pylon. And as you can see, the items goes here, they're being produced. Every 2 seconds, you're going to get 1 Origo crust. Every 2 seconds, you're also getting 1 amethyst fiber. And these two goes here. And once you have 5, it starts producing the amethyst component. Every 10 seconds, I get 1 amethyst component, and I can use this to craft gear for my operators. If I want to finish this automation even further, you can simply link this all the way back into the automation core. So now the items go out and they go back into the automation core. And this basically allows you to forget about it. And the thing that I mentioned about the protocol stash is just for the KOL. So instead of making this line there in the corner, I could, for example, simply set this one right here. Okay, and set it like this. So now it goes into the protocol stash, and by going to the protocol stash, this is going to be transferred back into the core AIC. See, goodbye. So I hope this could give you an idea of how to look into production chains and how to play around them. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the important production systems that I mentioned to you. Let's do this one from the scratch. All right, let's delete everything here. This is something that you should not be afraid, okay? Deleting things. Be creative. Don't feel afraid to waste your time doing things, even if they are not optimal, because you don't lose anything by simply destroying everything. Okay, so be creative. Explore things and see if they work for you or not. As long as you're getting the final objective, it's fine, right? You don't need to make things beautiful or compact. It doesn't really matter. This is completely up to you. This is the beauty of a factory system, in my opinion. Okay, but let's go over the plant system. So the idea of a planting system, I'm just going to pick up here the two machines instead of setting up the formula here, is that this machine right here, it picks up the bug flower that you find in the overworld. You probably gather some already while exploring the map and transform into 2 seeds. So 1 flower becomes 2 seeds. And this machine right here, the planting unit, it consumes 1 seed to produce 1 bug flower. Okay, so basically what we do here, we want to set 1 seed unit to 2 planting units. All right, the way that I said then is like this, because it makes so much better to go from one to the other. Okay, so basically we set it like this. We said this is going to be the one we're going to feed some plants. All right, so let's say that I put a whole pack of bug flower right here, and let me just power them with an electric pylon so you can see. Okay, so you can see 1 bug flower becomes 2 bug flower seed. Okay, and we just use this to feed into the 2 planting units. Okay, so you can see right here, it goes 2 at a time perfectly. So we produce 2, 2 goes out, produce 2, 2 goes out. Okay, cool. And if we simply start to put all of this into a protocol stash, let's say that, okay, so I now set up everything, and then I can just start doing this, right? Yeah, the problem is that eventually the seed picking unit is going to run out of flowers. So what do? We set this here. The planting unit is going to feed the seed picking unit. So it basically never going to go down. This number is never going down, because you can see right here, the seed goes into the machine, the planting machine goes back and gives another bug flower. You're always going to have flowers to work with, and this means that you're always going to have seed available to do this look. And this here is going to be like extra flowers for you. These are the ones that you want to actually send into the protocol stash. So you can set this and simply put it like this. Now the flowers, they are going into the protocol stash. Okay, so this is the basic idea behind the self-feeding planting system. Okay, and now what we do to save some space is just basically repeat the same thing in the other side. Okay, so basically we can set up another protocol stash right here. Okay, and then we just repeat the same thing again. Have a seed pick unit, goes to the outer side, and then we put 2 planting units into the inner side. Oops, move this here. Okay, and then you just repeat the same thing again. This is going to feed these 2, this feeds the seeding unit again, and this goes into the protocol stash. There you go, you have a self-feeding system that is going to produce 2 different kind of plants that you want. For this one, the one that I had highly recommended to use it is both Ecatine and the bug flower. These 2, you're going to be using them quite a lot, especially for the production lines that we're going to set up right now. Okay, so once you have this one set up, you can start working with all the other production lines that I want to talk about, which is the bug capsule, the explosives, and the batteries as well. These 3 are the ones that we're going to be trying to cover in this video, as these are the most important ones for you to keep producing items and scaling outposts, generating stock builds for you. Okay, so at the beginning, you're only going to have the automation core as a way to get items out of it. Here, I already have something else, but we don't need to worry about this thing. You're going to unlock this later in the game. You don't need it to start working with your production lines. Okay, All right, so let's start working with batteries, for example. Batteries, we can just search here for battery if you want to, because it allows you to see all the production chain, it allows you to pin stuff so you can reference later. And this is really similar to the idea of the component one, where we have two different production lines, one working with Originium ore and one working with Amethyst ore. This one's going to be a little bit different, as you can see right here. The numbers are different. It requires 5 Amethyst part, which is already double processed from Amethyst, as you can see right here. And this is just Originium powder, which is directly processed from Originium ore. So let's start by setting this to Amethyst, for example, okay? And let's start working line by line, all right? So the first one, Amethyst part. How do we work this? We need fiber. How do we make fiber? By using a refining unit with the Amethyst ore. This is where we start. We go from here into this. We use a refining unit. Okay, so let's set this refining unit to go here. Let's just power this so we can load the icons. It feels so much better for you to follow. Right, so now we are already producing the Amethyst fiber. This goes into a feeding unit to produce the Amethyst part. Okay, I need to stop pressing the escape key because it opens the menu. So now we use the feeding unit and we feed it with Amethyst fiber and it becomes Amethyst parts. Cool. Now we need to start working with the Originium powder as well. So if you take a look right here, oops, that's not where you're supposed to click. It's right here. It's really basic. You just drop Originium ore into a shredding unit and then you get the Originium powder. The shredding unit is right here. We set this to Originium ore. And there you go. We already have this item right here. Then we just need to use a packaging unit. There you go. We have the whole production for the batteries, as you can see right here. But there are some problems with this layout because it's simply not efficient. Let me just move this here so I can power the packaging unit as well. And why I'm saying that this is not efficient? Because the speed which you produce Amethyst fiber is different from the speed you are producing the Originium powder. If you take a look right here, you're going to notice that, yeah, okay, it finished building one battery, but it's always missing the powder. Why this is happening? This is happening because this produces one powder every 2 seconds. Now, if you don't care for efficiency, if you just want something simple, you can stop it right here. But think about it. We are basically cutting down all the production by half because of this small mistake in the ratio of the items that you're going to use on your factory. So, and how do we fix this? To fix this is actually really simple. You see, we have another port right here. We set it to another Originium port, and then you just set up another shredding unit. Okay, and doing so, let's just move this here so we can power up everything. Okay, and by doing so, we now increase the production of Originium powder. So now, instead of having a total of 5 powder every 10 seconds, well, we duplicate it, so now we have 10 powders every 10 seconds, which is exactly what we need. We are producing the 5 Amethyst part and 10 Originium powder every 10 seconds, which means this production right here is never going to stop again. Okay, take a look at the difference. Instead of waiting another 5 seconds to get all your batteries, we already have enough for another batch of batteries. So the machine never stops. And this allows you to pretty much duplicate your production rate, which allows you to have more batteries just by adding another machine right here. And to finish it up, you can simply use the protocol stash. Okay, let's put it right here in the corner to feed these items back into the automation core without putting a lot of transportation belts in the map. Okay, so this is the basic idea. You can change this layout as you see fit. You don't necessarily need to make these curves right here. Okay, you can change it to something like, oh, this looks too ugly, I'm going to do, I don't know, this thing right here. It's completely up to you. Okay, you are free to change things as you see fit. You are free. The idea is really simple, is just do line by line and then adjust the ratio as it sees fit. Okay, so this is a basic example of how you can automate the battery system. Let's go over the other ones. And for the other ones, I am not going into a deep explanation as I did with this one. I hope this could help you understand exactly how it works and how you can increase the efficiency of the production lines, okay, based on the ratio and based on how much of each item you actually need. Okay, and for all the other three, we are going to follow pretty much the same design, really similar one between every single one. Okay, so this is the production line for battery. You can save this by simply select everything and creating a blueprint. This can also be shared with other players. As far as you know, the blueprints are locked to each server, which means that if you're playing on the American server, you probably cannot use some of these. I already did some blueprints and I'm going to leave them down in the description in case you want to use them, but maybe if you are in the American server, you are not going to be able to use it. This is why I'm making these videos, so you can look at the blueprint, look at how it actually works and do it yourself in case it's not working, all right? So next up, let's go over the bug capsule. So since this is the one that I'm going to be using quite a lot for the very first outpost in the game. So the bug capsule is really easy. We just use the bug flower. We also going to use amethyst right here, right? And then we put the refining unit into a molding unit, and then we finish it up with a filling unit right here. Okay, so let's just put the power. Power goes here. And then we just start setting up everything. Amethyst go here, goes into bottle, and there we go. Now this has the exact same issue as the battery, where we need 2 fibers to make 1 bottle. Okay, and this produces 1 fiber every 2 seconds. So once again, if you want to fix it and increase the production, we just set up another amethyst here. We set another refining unit, and then we just start feeding everything into the same molding unit. Okay, it's that simple, it's that easy. It basically allows you to consistently provide bottles for the filling unit that is going to make use out of this. Okay, one thing that I'm going to mention here, you are actually going to have a surplus of bug flower powder. And this is because you consume 1 bug flower to do 2 bug flower powders. So what you can do in order to increase some of your efficiency here is to set up the whole system like this. Okay, we do really similar stuff like this and this here, the protocol stash. Okay, so what we do, we feed this here, this goes here, and here we do this into this, and we finish it like this. Okay, this looks complicated, but basically what we're doing is we have 2 amethyst fibers into the bottle, one, the molding unit that is going to produce bottle. This goes into the feeding unit with the bug flower powder and makes the bug capsule. But since we have an increased number of bug flower powder here, okay, we're basically just, what we're doing is just making sure that the 2 of them are going out all the time. So instead of clogging up the production, bottlenecking everything here, and not making use out of these extra bug flowers, we're simply processing them anyway and sending them back into the AIC system, so you can use this as a healing item in case you don't want to use the bug capsule C. You just use the powder for minimal healing, and then you just sell the bug capsule C for increased stock builds. Really compact system and really easy for you to replicate if you want to. And that's the whole idea of this one. And finally, we have the explosive, the industrial explosive. And basically, we just set it like this. We have the production to packaging unit. Okay, so here we set to amethyst. This one we're going to set for ecotine like this. And then we need to start powering up everything. We're going to set it here. It works. Okay, so amethyst goes here. Oh, this is not the right one. We're supposed to be using the feeding unit right here. Okay, so it becomes part. This is going to be the ecotine becomes powder. And here at the end, we can once again set the protocol stash. And if you want to, you can also set another protocol stash right here at the end. Okay, so once again, we have the same situation here of 1 Arcatine to 2 powders. So basically, we're just using 1 for the explosives, and the other one, the remaining one, goes into the protocol stash, which goes back into the AIC. So I think that's all for this video. I feel that these 3 are the most important ones, the facilities and production lines that you really want to set them as fast as possible, as soon as you start, as soon as you unlock the things in the tech tree. I hope this can help you progress a little bit faster in the beginning of the game. Okay, I do plan to keep producing more blueprints, and I plan to keep going over different systems as well. I also going to cover a lot of operator guides. So if you are interested in more Endfield content, remember to subscribe and also leave it a like on the video so I know this kind of content was helpful for you. And if you still have any questions about the factory system or anything about the game, feel free to leave a comment down below. I always looking at the comments to make sure what people are looking for help so I can make even more guides for you all. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.